Hey everyone, welcome back to How Much Money Can I Win from My Small Business with Federal Contracts. I'm Michelle Brown with FedBiz Exchange. Welcome to our federal contracting series. So we're still talking about how small businesses are winning government contracts in specific industries and specific areas. And this time we're going to continue with office supplies, but we're going to use as an example a small business that's a veteran-owned company. And the reason that we're going to give you three different examples with office supplies is because it's very important for you to understand that it doesn't matter what size your business is, large, medium-sized, small, it does not matter. You can win federal contracts in any industry because they're set-asides for small businesses. I could give you 50 examples or more, as you will see based on these reports, of small businesses that are winning every single day. So our profile in this video will be about a veteran-owned company, finding out how much this veteran-owned company was able to make on federal contracts by offering small business office supplies. So let's get into it, and I will walk you through the numbers. Started though, I just want to mention one thing. We ran a report just like we did in the previous video about the WOSB that was winning office supply contracts. We ran another report. We just added veteran-owned small businesses. So we're looking at office suppliers, so small businesses that sell office supplies to the federal government, 2018, 2017. They're all small businesses, they're all disadvantaged, and we've added veteran-owned businesses, okay? And as you can see, the number's not that different. It's 285 million with veterans added as compared to previously with the woman-owned business and the other report, it was 282 million. So let's get started, and I want you to know one thing about this download button. This download button gives me a report, which I showed you how to do in our our series of five steps to winning federal contracts. I showed you how to run your own reports, but that download button will give me a detailed report and help me to understand what exactly are the products that were sold to the federal government, sold to each agency, how much was sold, and what they sold, like what the item was. It shows me that in this report for every single small business that is on this report. And you should be running reports similarly to this because you have to do your homework first. If you don't do your homework, you're not going to easily find the opportunities and you're not going to understand what you're doing. You need to do your homework. And again, 5 steps to winning federal contracts, winning big in federal contracts. We have that series. You need to go back and take a look at it if you've never watched it. It's worth it. Go through it step by step. If you already have some things done, skip to video 3 and go ahead and learn how to find these opportunities. But the company that we've reviewed in this video is called 3Vets, and it is a veteran-owned company, and let's go right to their numbers. 3Vets Inc. is a small business. It's a small disadvantaged business. It's a veteran-owned service disabled business. Now, even though it looks like veteran-owned and service-disabled veteran are the same, they're not. You can be a veteran-owned business, get credit for that, but you also get a second credit for being a service-disabled veteran business. And when I say you get a second credit, that means each certification allows you to cover different areas. Just being a small business gets you a set-aside. But what if they have small business set-asides for veterans? Then this company would definitely qualify. Because if you see an opportunity that says small business set aside for veterans, then that means you must be a veteran. You cannot respond to that set aside if you are not a small business and a veteran. Okay, products or services, it's still office supplies, but the office supplies may be a little bit different. Like for instance, these office supplies could be paper, printing paper, toner, things like that. They have 3 employees. They have an annual revenue of $500,000 per year. Contracts awarded, we take a peek at their contracts for 2018 thus far, 2017, 16, and 15. The codes that they're using are a little bit different than the previous owner in the previous video, video number 1 with the woman-owned small business. Even though this is office supplies as well, they are using the NAICS code 339944. So that's different than the previous small business owner. The PSC code, however, is the same. Remember what the PSC code is. That's the product service code. And that is a code that really helps you to narrow things down so that you can connect with and find your federal buyers in every agency, at least every agency that would buy from you on a regular basis. Now let's look at their numbers. So for 2017, they actually were awarded $429,851 for the full year, and there are no subcontracts. So they kept all of their dollars, which is perfectly fine within the organization. This is just a picture of the chart for 2017, the 429,000 that I just spoke of. But this chart, I love it. It was on the previous video too, but it allows me not to have to go back to different pages. All I need to do is highlight a certain area, which this would be 2017 right here. Highlight a certain area, take a picture of it, and that tells me on the scale, you know, how long they've been doing federal contracts, and I can take a look at practically any year I'd like to review. 2016 looks like they had a better year where they did $644,000, 571, and that was actually in 2016, as you can see right here on the graph. So it looks like they had a better year in 2016. They probably put forth a little bit more effort. And then 2015, well, that was back a little bit further back, but 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, but they did about $776,000. It looks like over the year up to 2017, they dropped a little bit, but sometimes that's because companies in the beginning are assertive, they're winning, and then they just wait for the federal agencies to come to them. You should never do that. You should always be active and progressive. If you're doing well one year, your growth, this chart should show you going up, not down. Even though these are back years, if we look at 2000, even 2014 right here, 2014, they went up in 2015, but then they went back down in 2016. It's not necessarily because the government slowed down. It could be because maybe there was no contact on the small business part. But once you start winning, you should always do your best to stay on top of things and continue to bid. Don't just assume that these buyers are going to just keep coming to you. And I mentioned diversification, multiple streams of income within the federal contracting arena before, and I'll say it again. Once you start doing business with a couple of agencies, that's awesome, that's great, but don't stop there. Get more and more traction by doing business with other agencies in other areas. You never want to be dependent upon just a few areas. And then to date, 2018, we just started this fiscal year, not in January. Remember what I said, the fiscal year started October 1st of 2017. We are going into our second year. The fiscal year started October 1st in 2017. So we're going into our second quarter. I said year, I meant quarter. We're going into our second quarter of government contracting for the federal government. So if you haven't gotten started, you need to start right away because we're going into our second quarter. We only have 4. And before you know it, we'll be at October 1st, 2018, and the year will be over, and we'll be going into 2019. So it looks like they, right now at this point, have earned up to $5,122, which it looks like they continue to decline, but they have plenty of opportunity to get it together before the third quarter. Even within the second quarter, we don't know what kind of orders they have coming through, but I hope they're staying on top of things. Let's look at their agencies. So their best agency is the Department of Defense. They won $206,000 with the Department of Defense. And then their next largest federal agency is the Department of Veteran Affairs, which is $148,062. So the other few agencies that I'm showing on here, the Department of Justice, the Department of Agriculture, and the Department of Homeland Security, they probably could beef those up a little bit. And again, if you're not being active, if you're not constantly bidding, and I mean, I realize that you guys have, most of you, a commercial side of the business. But when you start growing like this and you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars and then it becomes millions, you need to set up a whole department that's all you focus on. You can't have the same people that are doing your commercial work, doing your contracting work. Once you start making big dollars like that, if you have, your commercial side, you should have that managed and balanced, and then you should create a team. Once you start making good money, create a team, even if it's 1 or 2 people for your federal contracting side, because your federal contracting side could easily surpass your commercial side, even if you've made a couple of million on your commercial side. Remember, your federal contracting side has the ability to bring you in multi-million dollar contracts. And that's not just 1, that could be 2, it could be 3, but it depends on how much energy you put into it and how much you stay focused. With that said, thank you for watching. That was our second business profile for office supplies. Small business owners that own office supply companies that want to do business with the federal government. And as I said, I could show you 50, even 100, even 500 companies that offer office supplies that have won contracts. It doesn't matter how many. The bottom line is the dollars are there. The government spends $400 billion every single year, and sometimes more than 400 billion, not to mention that they have hundreds and hundreds of agencies that receive federal dollars every single year. And the products that I'm reviewing right now, office supplies, every single agency needs office supplies. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video, and please leave me your comments and let me know what you need. Let me know what you'd like to understand better, what industries you'd like to have me look into, and I'll be happy to get on it. Talk to you soon.